what's up DIYers? Mike Borders with the Mike Borders channel. Thank you for watching. We're talking sump pumps today, and in today's video we're going to show you how you can actually prevent your sump pump discharge, drain line, or plumbing that's on the exterior portion of your house from freezing. You don't want that. That could lead to a flood. Not good. Let's take a look. And DIYers, here we are, a 180 from where we were just standing doing the intro. And as you can see, it is snowing outside. We've got snow on the ground, just that time of year. And if I gave you a minute or two to see where the actual sump pump discharge line or pipe is outside, well, you just can't see it, right? And that is not good. And what we strongly recommend is keeping your discharge line or pipe exposed to the outside world, meaning the sun. Allow it to breathe. Don't allow it to get completely covered with snow or ice or dirt or mud or rocks or leaves or anything. At any point you see it covered up, immediately uncover it and clean it to allow that water to flow efficiently out of the pipe or discharge vent. Again, very important. Alright DIYers, hey, real quick, before we go outside and become more familiar with the discharge sump pump drain or pipe or line, whatever you want to call it, I did want to come down to the utility room where we have our water heater and our sump pump chamber. And we've got two plumbing pipes that come out of the sump pump chamber and feed up. And one's small, one's large. And the small one actually goes into the sealed chamber and connects to the sump pump. And the sump pump activates and pushes all the water up that small pipe and out of the house. However, the larger pipe is our radon system. And that goes into, again, our required by code sealed chamber for the radon system to work as designed and be to code. And DIYers, if you want to become more familiar with radon systems, definitely check out the link scrolling above. We will also post that link to our playlist down below in the comments and description. However, back to the sump pump and the small plumbing. I'm going to come inside here. Again, that connects to the sump pump down below inside the chamber. And once that fills up and raises the sump pump float, it activates and turns on and pushes all that water up that entire plumbing pipe and out of the house. Well, DIYers, if you have a frozen over, blocked, or clogged discharge line or pipe or exit point, well, guess what? That's a lot of pressure being generated by that pump, and that water's got to go somewhere. And your weak links or weak points of the system, that's a check valve, which doesn't allow any water once it passes to come back here, which is good, safety and to code. However, you've got several joints and connection points, and at any point the discharge line is blocked and that sump pump is pushing water up and out of the plumbing, and again it's clogged, well, guess what? You're going to blow a pipe or blow a fitting or a hose, and guess where all that water's going? Not outside. It's going all over your floor. Definitely not what you want, especially if you have drywall within close proximity, as well as wood that could warp, rot, or even worse, have to be completely taken out and replaced. And I want to bring my light in here and come inside here. And DIYers, at this point you can make out our sump pump down below inside the chamber. You see to the right is the float, and again, as the water goes into that chamber and rises, that float rises and it will activate the sump pump. And real quick, in our case, water comes from the roof, whether it's a rainy day and the rain's going inside the eave troughs or gutters, or there's a bunch of snow on the roof and all that melted water is flowing into the eave troughs and down the system. It all makes its way to this chamber right here, where it will then be pushed out of this chamber up through the plumbing out of the house and exit the discharge line or plumbing. And DIYers, you can hear that constant airflow or suction, and that is our radon system in operation. There's a large radon fan up in our attic, sucking any and all radon gases out of the home. So again, I just wanted to show you this, and I'll pick the camera up. And again, in the event that that plumbing becomes clogged, or what we're mainly talking about, the discharge exit point outside is frozen, you have to unthaw it. Because if you don't, you are allowing that constant pressure to be built within the plumbing from the sump pump. And again, DIYers, that water's going somewhere. If it can't make its way outside, I do not want to think about what damage it could cause when it goes somewhere else, like all over your floor, and damages any surrounding items such as drywall, personal belongings, valuables, or anything. So again, looking at the pipe going up, and I will show you where it comes out of the house. However, for a Radon, it travels all the way and turns up at a 90-degree angle and goes all the way up to the attic. Here we are in utility room number 2, where we have our water softener, our pressure tank, our salt brine tank for the system, and additional items and plumbing. And DIYers, for us, the importance of always ensuring that our outside or exterior discharge line or pipe is clear and not clogged is because of what you're looking at right now, our water softener system. And anytime that system regenerates, all the water being pumped out of the system and discharged up makes its way through that black hose or line and all the way to the sump pump chamber. And with that said, even when it's not raining or the snow is not melting on the roof and water is making its way down to the sump pump area, anytime our water softener system regenerates, it pumps and discharges a lot of water from here all the way to the sump pump chamber, where it puts that sump pump to use. So again, for us and probably for you, it is imperative that your exterior or outside discharge plumbing is not frozen over or clogged. All right, DIYers, leaving the utility room, and we got our jet skis in-house for DIY repair videos for all of you, the DIY community. And if you're into jet skis, hey, check us out. We've got a lot of repair videos. 95 XP and an 03 GTX. This one is my parents'. And that snow's not giving up. However, we're heading outside. All right, DIYers, we are outside and it's snowing. It is snowing. No denying that. However, coming down here, and here is the exact point where the sump pump pushes that water up and out of the house, and it makes a downward angle, and then it joins all the water coming out of our gutter system or eave trough system, again feeding off the roof, where it then goes underground all the way out to our yard. And the discharge point is right in this area. I'm going to grab a shovel because you do not want, again, that to be covered or blocked. And there it is. There is the discharge part, and this centerpiece right here lifts up and water flows out of this pipe. However, ours is loose, and I can pull it up, and you can see some rocks inside there. And again, in the event that this is frozen over, or you pull the cap off and you see a solid block of ice right here, you need to thaw that out. And if you run into that, DIYers, I recommend grabbing a bowl of hot water. Don't boil it, just hot water from your tap. Come out here and slowly pour it on the top portion of the ice and allow it to melt. And again, in most cases, it's not going to be frozen completely all the way underground. It might be frozen just at this point right here, and maybe 6 to 8 inches, maybe a foot back from the discharge point. So keep that in mind. In the event that you see a solid block of ice and you thaw it using warm water, chances are within a couple minutes you will see water flow, because again, it is not likely for the entire pipe underground to completely freeze. And as far as that downward angled portion, that's by design and to code, because it's not full of water right now. Water comes out as it's being pumped up with the sump pump, and it exits this point at a downward angle. And once that sump pump stops, well, water is not really in this area. Basically, pressure stops right there, and the water falls back inside the plumbing down in the basement, where it is stopped by that check valve, and the water that was pumped past this point will basically just flow here. It might be halfway full, but there is not constant water inside that pipe. So that freezing really is not a concern to us. However, that is. All right, taking a step back, I shoveled around the sump pump discharge area or pipe or plumbing. And again, I just want to talk about the importance of not allowing that to ice over or clog. Because in the event that we did not shovel the snow off of the discharge area or pipe, that is only increasing the likelihood of it freezing or clogging. And if we didn't care and just got lazy and did not remove that snow, well, over time when it warms up during the day and a little bit of that snow melts and lowers closer to the ground, in the event that the temperature drops below zero when the sun is down, well, guess what's going to happen to all that water? It is going to freeze and create a solid layer of ice underneath the snow and over that sump pump discharge pipe. Not good at all. So again, this is our setup. Now, in the event that your discharge is closer to the house, you can actually install a freeze prevention adapter, and that is this thing right here. And unfortunately, we cannot install this. Now, this is about 3 3/4 inches it's a perfect fit. If I took that green cap off our discharge pipe, we could actually lower this in place. And what it does is, in the event that the water is clogged or frozen below, because it will always be shaped like this. Say for example, your house is right here and the sump pump plumbing comes out. It's connected to the top portion, and in the event that the water below this point right here through, in our example, the pipe under the ground is frozen, well, the water will exit from this point and be discharged out of here, as opposed to being stuck inside the pipe and creating pressure, leading to a burst pipe. And I say this won't work for us because DIYers, we are about 5 yards from the house. 10 times out of 10 times, you see this part right here, or this adapter, attached within 6 inches from the actual house. And that would be that pipe right there. So unfortunately, this part is the same size right there, but I don't have a connection pipe here. And I can get creative and add adapters to install this there, but I'm not going to. So again, that is a freeze prevention adapter. And down below in the comments and description is a link on where to purchase this. And coming back here, we hope this helps. Hey, do us a favor, below the video you will see that thumbs up icon. Click on that, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Definitely ring your YouTube bell. That would be very helpful to us. We would really appreciate it. Thanks again for watching. And let me show you one last thing here. Take that off. Again, 3 3/4. It is a perfect fit. However, again, we are so far from the house, it will not work for our setup. That adapter needs to be way closer to the house. So again, won't work. However, I can get creative way out here and just add additional pipes up and maybe a 90-degree joint and feed it maybe a foot downstream here and have the water exit there. However, if I did that, I am deeply relying on the lower pipe underground never freezing. Because if it does, then this adapter at that very location becomes completely irrelevant and no improvement to our system whatsoever. Coming back to this portion, again, immediate exit from the home, and that is a perfect fit right there. So what I could do is actually have a 90-degree elbow like that, but pointing down, have that installed basically right under here, and then have a 3/4 adapter that feeds back into this small pipe size. And then I could have that set up right there. And again, any frozen water from basically the bottom portion of this feeding through here, underground and out there, and blocking the system, well, it won't be an issue because water will flow out of these vents. Here we are back inside, and this is the box that the adapter came in. And some measurements there. And I just wanted to show you a different view of it. All right, DIYers, back outside with a 2-day update, and our system has regenerated. And check out that. All of that water out there came out of that sump pump discharge point, and I promise you, DIYers, all of that water during the regeneration process, it's best if it's out there and not puddled up or pooled up and causing a flood in our basement. That would be a serious heartache.